dear learners, Namaskar. In this topic, we have to study about the responsibility of the automotive service technicians. In the automobile sectors, with the use of the automobile or vehicles, we have to need service technicians for the continuous run of the automobiles. So, in this case, we have to study different points like introductions, why we need automotive service technicians, and what are the job roles of the automobile service technicians, specific automotive service technicians and responsibility of the automotive service technicians. So, in the present situations, the role of the automobile service technician is one of the most attractive and challenging. Tools and equipments are mandatory prerequisite for repair and maintenance of the vehicles. Handling of tools require a scientific and systematic knowledge to become a professional technician in automobile field. Why we need automotive service technicians? Buying a vehicle is such easier task as compared to repairing and maintenance of the same vehicle. Nowadays, buying of the vehicle is more easy for the peoples, but service of the vehicles is more important than the purchase. Purchasing of the vehicles is more easier than the servicing. But any car or automobile consuming more than 20,000 parts approximately with the variety of approximately 100 different types. Means automobile or vehicle is not a single component. Total automobile consists of around 20,000 parts and more than 100 different varieties. So, it is very important which part is placed at which place and work properly. It is very important. It is therefore not possible for everyone to remember them and know their working. Means it is not possible for everyone, every driver, every customer to know the location of the each part, where it is located and what are the functions. It is very difficult to remember. Then to make each part with maximum efficiency, with trouble free, means if each and every part work efficiently, then finally our vehicle will run smooth. Means in this case each and every part is important for their workings. Be required to be an expert of each and every component that is fitted on the vehicles, which is practically not possible. Means as we know that in this case number of components are fitted in the vehicles and each part having some specialties and importance of each part is very crucial. So repair is also must. These large number of parts in a vehicles generate the need for an automobile service technician. Due to these number of varieties of parts or varieties of components, we need service technicians. That is automobile service technicians. Then job roles of automotive service technicians. What are the job roles of the service technicians? As in this case given figures shown, maintenance and repairs, problem identifications. Without identification of the problems, service technician not able to find the solution of that problems, because problem comes towards the end of the customers or towards the drivers that feel by the customers. Then plan work procedures. In this case, perform maintenance and repair customer service. Then identification of the problems. How problems identified by the repairs? There are the various methods by using diagnostic equipments, tools, or manually depending upon the cause. Depending upon the cause, service technician find out what are the causes, how it diagnose. Then after finding the problem identifications, then they have to make a plan. For what plan? By using chart, technical manuals, data, and also on the basis of the experience. Means how proceed for the maintenance, they have to make a plans. After making the plan, they have to proceed. Then follow checklist to ensure that all the critical parts are examined properly and to eliminate chances of mistake. Means in this case job roles of the automobile service technician is also to follow the checklist to ensure that all the critical parts are examined properly and to eliminate chances of mistakes. Perform basic auto care and maintenance tasks such as oil change, fluid level checks and tire rotation. Job roles of the automotive service technicians also follow the regular checking like maintenance tasks such as oil change, changing of the oil they have to see, and what are the levels of the fluid inside the engines and what are the tire rotations. Then after that perform repairs to the satisfaction of the manufacturer and customers. Actually, satisfaction of the customer is very important in this case. So, by keeping the point of view of the customer satisfaction in mind, they have to perform the job. Then explain all the vehicles related problems and repair to customers in a simple and non-technical and brief language. Means explanation of the problems to the customers is very important. Suppose that one problems occurred inside the engines that technically they cannot understand. They cannot understand means customers not understand. But duty of the or role of the service technician to explain the problems in simple and easy language by which customer can be understood. Means in this case, this is also the rules of the auto service technician to explain the problems. Test all parts and systems for either replacing or repairing them to ensure that they work properly. Means the role of the service technician is also to test the parts, whether it is replaced, to be replaced or to be repaired. They have to decide. Then understand the auto component manufacturer's specification related to the various components in the vehicles. Means in this case, auto service technician is to be understood the specification of the components, because without identification of the specification, component replacement is not possible. Then understand the functioning of each system or component in vehicles. Means auto service technicians able to understand the problems or function of the components. Job roles of the automobile service technician again includes performing inspections. Inspection is also one of the important part, because after servicing they have to inspect whether it is correct or not, parts fitted correctly or not. Then diagnostic testing of the vehicles. Diagnostic testing means in this case test the diagnostic test occurred. Replacement of the worn out components. For that they have to follow the standard operating procedures. Follow standard operating procedures for using workshop tools and equipment for fault diagnosis or to troubleshoot problems in vehicles. Conduct test drives to assist the senior technician in finding the fault based on the performance of the vehicle during the test drive. Auto service technician is also to perform the test drive for finding out the problems, because at the time of testing of the driving they are easily find out the problems and that problems to convey the consumers or customers. Then review the job card and understand the complaints of the customers. After driving, after testing, review the job card and explain the actual problem to the customers. Then follow the SOP. SOP means standard operating procedures set out for diagnosing faults under the supervision of a senior technicians. Sometimes some technicians are not able to find out the problems or diagnose the problems, then they have to consult from the other technicians, other senior technicians also. Then follow instructions of the seniors for undertaking specific tasks related to diagnosing fault in the various sub-assemblies of a vehicles. They have to also follow the instructions given by the seniors. They have to follow the instructions given by the seniors. Then use checklist and standard OEM. Checklist and standard OEM. OEM means original equipment manufacturers operating procedures to understand, because along with the vehicles each and every manufacturer issue a manuals, and that manuals they have to also follow guidelines to understand. If the fault is because of improper servicing or low level of oils, coolants, grease etc., or if due to poor quality of oil, filters etc. Why OEM required? Why OEM manual required? Because in the OEM manual each and every specifications are given. If you are not following the standard procedures or standard oil given, standard parts given, if you are not following the standard procedures, then there may be some problem after servicing is also. Then dismantle and assemble aggregates. Auto service technicians also required to know how to dismantle and assemble the components, because after dismantling they have to start the servicing, otherwise they are not able to service. Then ensure that many malfunction observed in the tools and equipments, which is beyond your own scope of work, is reported to the concerned person. Sometimes some problem not under the control of that technicians. At that time they have to report to other senior technician or take help from the others. Ensure that any malfunction observed in the vehicles is reported to the concerned person. Sometimes some problems related with the specific, at that time they have to report to specific technicians also. Then again, job roles of automotive service technicians: conduct routine maintenance, then diagnose and fix the vehicle problems, provide detailed estimate for the repairs, keeps lakhs of work performed, understanding the various precautions that need to be taken to avoid damage to the vehicles or its component. Precautions is also important, because at the time of dismantling of the components, sometimes if you are not following the precautions, then it may be harmful for the vehicles or also harmful for the technicians. While working on the diagnosis for fault identification or troubleshooting the vehicle for any faults, ensure safe movement and parking of the vehicles in the workshop, especially in case of where an aggregate to be diagnosed had been disassembled. Means in this case, movement of the vehicles is also ensure that will be safe or not. Parking of the vehicles which comes for the which arrived for the service, that is parked in the proper place or not. Auto service technicians also ensure that proper parking of the vehicles. Then ensure that training organized by OEM from time to time are attended. Actually, OEM manufacturing, original equipment manufacturing companies, time to time organizes the training session for the technicians. So in auto service technicians also ensure that attended that training part also, because that will be helpful for the service. Then drive a relevant vehicles before and after service, which is an important part of the service. Means drive of the vehicle is also important before and after service, because before service auto service technician find out the problems, and after service again find out the solutions, whether it is updated or whether it is service satisfactory or not. So drive is also very important before and after the service. Again, from this figure we can see that standard operating procedures follow. We have to for the using of the tools and for fault diagnosis or troubleshoot problems in your vehicles. There may be some procedure for the SOP. If SOP is good, then it is clearly understood by the service technician as well as for the customer. How it to be made? A good SOP is clearly worded and easy to read. In this case, we have to mention the title, department, date and ID. User can quickly refer to this purpose and not read the whole SOP. Then department head signs, in this case, clarify any upcoming jargons. Complete step by step instruction. Means SOP is important for the service technicians. How it to write? From this simple we can see that. Then again, from this figure we can see that one service technician is explaining the problems to the customers. What are the problems and what are the solution? Means problem should be discussed with the customers, and what are the solutions for that problems clearly explained to the customers. After explaining, then they have to take the view from the customer also, whether we have to go for the service or not. After explaining, they have to decide with the interaction of these tools. Then it is very important, sometimes specific automotive service technicians are required for specific purpose. In this case, automotive air conditioning technicians, because some specialization required for the some specialized parts. So in case of any problems related with the air conditioning, then we have to search for the a specific specialized service technicians. What problem diagnose the air conditioning technicians? That will install and repair air conditioning and parts. What parts they can repair? Like compressors, condensers and controls. These are the electronic components. Then brake technicians. In case of any problem occurred inside the brake, then we have to go for the brake technicians, and that will diagnose brake system problems like adjustment of the brakes. When adjustment takes place, service technicians see that or inspect that if there is a problem in the adjustment, then they have to adjust the brakes. Then sometimes it is required replace the brake rotors and pads depending upon the requirements, depending upon the efficiency, depending upon the brake work, or depending upon the time by which brake to be worked. Then make other repairs on brake system. Whatever problem occurred inside the brake, they know all the solutions. So brake consists of the shoe, internal brakes, outside of the brakes, disc. So they have to specialize knowledge. Again, drivability technicians. Drivability technicians means in this case drivability technicians. Drivability technicians means in this case related with the drive system. Drive system means in this case drive system is related with the gear trains, power transmission, shaft, etc. And also known as these technicians also known as the diagnostic technicians. And these technicians uses their extensive knowledge of engine management and fuels. Electrical ignition system means sometimes MPFI or single point fuel injections, and emission systems to diagnose issues. Emission system consists of the silencers, smoke emissions, exit valve, exit passes, and to diagnose these issues and prevent engines from the performing efficiently. They often use on-board diagnostic systems of a car and electronic testing equipments. Means sometimes for inspecting of the or diagnosing of the system use the on-board diagnostic, and that on-board diagnostic system directly find out the problems of a car and a electronic testing, how they work. Working of that diagnostic system is scan, tools and multimeter to find the malfunctions. Then next is front end technician. Front end, there are two ends, front end, rear end. Sometimes problems occurs inside the vehicles towards the front side like suspension systems. Front end technicians diagnose ride, handling and tire wear problems, rim problems. These are the related with the front side. Then to correct these problems, they frequently use special alignment equipment and wheel balancing machines. Sometimes problems occurs in the front side of the wheels towards the balancing, then we can search out the front end technicians. Sometimes again problem in suspension in the front side of the wheels, then again we have to search for the front end technicians. Then transmission technicians and rebuilders. Transmission technicians, in this case transmission system is the related with the differential gears, spur gears or transmission of power. Transmission of power means in this case power is transmitted from one point to another point. So transmission system of the vehicle is the heart of the vehicles. That is very important because all the power required for a vehicle is generated inside the cylinder. Then from the cylinder that will be transmitted with the help of the connecting rod, crank towards the camshaft. After that power is transmitted with the help of the differential gears, and differential gear consists of the various types of gear, and that is very important during the runnings. If problem occurred in that type of system, then we have to go for the transmission technicians and rebuilders. Transmission technicians are the ones who work on the gear trains, couplings, hydraulic pumps and other parts of the coupling. In this case gear trains, couplings. Coupling means in this case we have to use a system or coupling which connect different types of shaft like a universal coupling or any other type depending upon the requirement of the drive system. Then again we have to go for the responsibility of the automotive service technician. What are the responsibilities we have to study? Conduct extensive diagnostic procedures, plan for the repair procedures. Means as a automotive service technician they have to make plan how they have to proceed and what are the plans, what are the problems. Depending upon the problems identification they have to plan for the service. Then test the functionality of the parts and system. They have to test each and every part of the component. Component may be or parts may be replaceable or it may be repairables. After testing they have to find the functionality of the parts of the system. Then repair and replace parts. Sometimes some parts are required to repair, then they have to repair, and sometimes some parts are required to replace. That have to decided by the technicians, and on the basis of that decision they have to take decision whether we have to go for the repair or replace. And after that, after taking decision they have to also communicate to the customers also. Then perform routine maintenance. Routine maintenance means regularly maintenance they have to check like oil change, oil levels, engine oils, tire pressures and fluid level indicators, what are the levels of the fluid inside the engine or not. Then willingness to learn means always automotive service technician always willingness to learn, means they have to always willingness to learn of new things in a system with the help of the automotive. Then help keep repair shops clean and organized. They have to always help to keep the repair shop clean and organized. Interpret the needs of the customers. Means first they have to find out the what are the needs of the customers, then that needs of the customer to be interpreted, then is ensure that the service provided up to the customer satisfaction. Means insurance of the customer is also very important by the service technician. So in this case, in this slide, we have to, dear learners, we have to study what are the responsibility of the service technicians, what are the roles of the service technicians, and how they are going to organize a standard operating procedures in a workshops. So thank you very much for your attention.